What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so you might have heard about this. Former President Joe Biden. Now, you may remember earlier this year, it was announced that the former president had been diagnosed just months after leaving office with stage four metastatic prostate cancer that had spread to his bones. Okay. Now, you may recall I did a video a few years ago where I suspected that the White House was lying about Joe Biden's health because Joe Biden had given a speech, I think it was back in 2022, when he admitted to having cancer. He said that he was one of millions of Americans who had cancer. They claimed, the White House later on, that he had misspoken. I was always suspicious of that. And it's just interesting to me that just a couple of months after he leaves the White House, Joe Biden is sort of supposedly diagnosed with stage four prostate cancer, which usually takes a couple of years at minimum to develop to that state. You know what I'm saying? So I think they were always lying to us. I think they were never transparent with us, the Biden White House, when it came to his health. But anyway, it's now been announced that he's going to begin a 5-week course of therapy / treatment for his cancer with radiation and hormones. And you know, I saw this late last night, but I wanted to do a little bit of research before I did a video on this. First of all, let me say I wish him the best. I don't play around with people's lives like that. When it comes to Donald Trump, even if I don't like him, I don't wish death upon people, man. I think people really play lightly or tread too lightly when it comes to death for this country, man. Like, it's just the mean spiritedness and the vindictiveness and maliciousness in politics is just unbelievable, man. It's like, honestly, it sort of reminds me of uh, the atmosphere that existed right before the Civil War. It really does. It's not quite there, but it's sort of like in that flavor. You know what I'm saying? It's in that temperature range. Um, so let me say, like, I wish him well. You know, I hope that he gets through this, which is going to be a very grueling physical ordeal. I've worked around cancer patients. I know how much that those treatments wear them down. Okay. Um, Unfortunately, it's not always successful. And, you know, I do have to say this. Considering that he has cancer that has metastasized to his bones, um, I'm just making an educated guess that whatever treatment that they were using or that they were doing before may no longer be working. I'm assuming that the cancer is spreading at a rate that doctors are concerned about. Um, so they're upping the treatment or upping the regimen, whatever you want to call it, right? Now, this isn't my opinion. Um, this is the opinion of medical doctors that I've seen talk about this. What makes Joe Biden's case alarming and worrisome is the fact that he is an older person. He's 82 years old. As I said before, when I worked um, in the I guess you want to call it the cancer ward, right, in the hospital, many of those cancer patients were 20, 30, 40, 50 years plus younger than Joe Biden, and they had a hell of a time with it. So this is already an older guy, Joe Biden, who already has had multiple health problems in recent years. I mean, he's already looked kind of gaunt anyway. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the physical issues, not even the, the mental ones. Um, apparently he has a very aggressive form of the disease, which may be more resistant to treatment. And, I don't know, y'all. I wish him the best. But, I don't want to come around and say it. It's just, we got to be prepared for whatever happens. Put it like that. You know what I'm saying? Joe Biden, of course, served his country, if you want to call it that, in Washington from, I think, 1972 to 2017, rising from a United States Senator from Delaware, ultimately to becoming Vice President of the United States in 2009, elected in 2008 under Barack Obama. Was quote unquote Barack Obama's right hand man for 8 years. At his peak, Joe Biden was a very formidable politician who, knew the ins and outs of Washington and was an excellent debater. But by the time he became president in 2021, he was fading. A lot of it had to do with what many of us suspect to be cognitive decline, other health issues going on that have never been totally clear on as far as the American people. But we definitely saw a decline in his health during his term. And I now think that part of why he was so lethargic as president, and now when I look back at that debate from last year, I have more sympathy for him because I think the guy was suffering from cancer. You know what I'm saying? But whatever the case may be, man, there's a lot of things about Joe Biden that I don't care about. I don't care for, excuse me. A lot of things about Joe Biden I don't care for. His policies, and when it comes to him being one of the main pushers of the crime bill, right? Some of the rhetoric he used when he was younger, when he aligned himself with the more conservative faction of the Democratic Party, who were many of them segregationists, even former Klansmen like Robert Byrd. That's why I've always been resistant towards Joe Biden. But, at the same time, I recognize the situation for what it is. And I just think that while I wish him the best, because I'm just a person that don't wish ill on people, this thing could get bad, y'all, But anyway, tell me what you guys think about this.